Hello, and I'm Leo. Welcome back.
Yes, and today we're going to add a new pose to our pose directory, which is Marichyasana. I almost forgot that. Marichyasana II.
Some of us might wish we had forgotten this by the end of this.
It's a very challenging pose, so I'm going to demonstrate it, and Leo's going to show you a really nice modified version to get those hips nice and mobile. Alright, so because it's Marichyasana, we start in a Padmasana action, chest nicely lifted, extended. So Marichyasana II comes into the forward bending series, so it's not actually a twisting action, although you may think it looks a bit twisted and buckled. So you come into the action from the Padmasana action. So you have to see that you're getting quite a good half Padmasana. So one of the poses in our directory is Ardha Baddha Padma Padmasana. So this is really where you need to be. And then the Marichyasana action comes in. And what's really important is that you become really narrow. Now if you find that, oh, this is really difficult and this leg is coming up, then you need to sit a little bit higher underneath the buttock. You can also support with a blanket underneath the knee if you need to. But you have to learn it in your body so that you connect and you become very, very narrow, and the abdomen's drawing back towards the spine. And then we come forward and you turn. So you're going to make enough space to come forward. Okay. So you can pause at this stage to make sure you're staying very compact and the outer thigh is moving in towards the body and that the lower abdomen is drawing back. And then this is like a Gorkasana action. You're going to come round to catch. So with my small arms, it's quite challenging. So you come back to catch. So I'm catching my hands behind my back. You may need to have a belt to hold on to. Now, without just rocking forward, you've got to see that you get the lift from the base of the spine. See how I'm going back a little bit now? And then making so much room in that thigh to come forward.
There's a lot involved. And then be here for a few breaths. If you get to this stage, you're going to see that those hips are really nicely moving in towards one another, and then coming up
and releasing and extending. So I will show you on the other side, extending back into Dandasana. So keeping that nice lift. And then coming for that Padmasana leg. So all the instructions we've already given in some of the poses in the pose directory, coming into your Ardha Baddha Padma Padmasana, keeping that lift nicely. And then we come for the Marichyasana action. Now this leg can slide. You can slide a little bit down through the inner thigh. But then be sure that you're really nicely compact. The abdomen's moving back so much. So, you mustn't spread in this pose. You have to see that the abdomen is supporting the spine. And then we come for the forward action. So when you come forward, again, you've got to get some movement in the root of that shoulder, in the root of the arm, so you get that turning to bring the arm back and then catching. And at this stage, just pause for a moment. Press so strongly with the Marichyasana foot. Press it down so strongly so that it gives you an action in the abdomen to draw back. And then see, from that action, can you come forward? Can you come forward? Can you come forward? Can you come forward? So again, if you're really flexible, don't throw yourself forward. If you're quite stiff at this stage, you can use a belt. It takes time.
And again, as we say, you have to practice a lot of the standing poses to get agility in the hips in this pose.
It's not one of those poses that you would stay in for a long period of time when you go out. then, oh, my legs are a different colour. Okay, when you come out, you extend up, chest up, so that you complete the action and give the legs a really good downward action so that they straighten out again. So I know for some of you, this will be really difficult to achieve. And if that's the case, then we can work towards it. And Leo's here, we're going to do an essential preparatory action. Well, that's what we call them. They're stages before the pose. And you can see that Leo's sitting on a couple of blankets here.
You can use foam pads, you can come higher than this. So I'm going to bring my right leg back into a Marichyasana leg. Yeah, I'm going to show this side. Right leg back into a Marichyasana leg. I'm mirroring you now. But not quite a strong Marichyasana, it's quite a wide Marichyasana because we're going to lift this foot up onto here and flex it. So keep your sacrum back to the wall and you can just release here. Now you might be able to bring this foot further in, you might be able to bring this heel further down, but with all the poses, don't overdo. These things take time. So here I'm getting a rotation in my hip. My hips are quite stiff and I can feel that I'm getting this external rotation in my hip. I'm keeping this foot flexed to keep the knees safe. There shouldn't be any sense of strain or compression in the knee when you're doing this. If there is, move this foot forwards and maybe go back to a Marichyasana action.
Yes, and also to make sure that you're quite compact in this action. Now, we say compact. Now, it's mad being compact. If you're really, really stiff, then you've got to give yourself a little bit more space. But if you can gradually, whilst you're sitting there, as you can see Leo's holding onto her leg there, she's becoming more compact at the hips. The outer hips are moving in strongly, the abdomen's drawing in. You can see how beautifully her spine is lifting there. So this is a really good stage to help with that Marichyasana II. So if you're thinking, oh my goodness me, I'm nowhere near that pose, then this is a really good way to try to get some opening in the pelvis and in the hips. We'll do the other side.
Even yeah.
Yeah.
So the only problem with the blankets is that they're sliding a little bit away from the wall. If you've got a mat, you put your mat to the wall so it doesn't slip.
And you can notice that Leo's moving that lower calf, as we've shown in previous videos, especially for the Ardha Baddha Padma, the Marichyasana actions, that you have to see that the back of the knee is really nice and open and free. So you're not bulking behind the back of the knee, and then you should be absolutely fine, no problem at all. And it does take time, regular practice. These essential preparatory actions sometimes have to come into play when the actual classical poses are a little bit challenging to achieve. And you can see here, Leo is modifying the action. She's getting a little bit of movement and then bringing the foot in a little bit more so that you can increase the intensity. It's a really good way of working.
And don't expect to go from really stiff and inflexible hips to being very pliable in a very short space of time. It takes time, it takes consistency, it takes hard work. Yes. But I am better, even though I'm stiff in the hips, I am better than I was. And every time you do a little bit more, you get a little more open. You have to be patient with yoga, it doesn't happen in a day.
Yes, it's work in progress and working through sweet discomfort.
Not discomforting your knees, please. Okay, so I'm slowly coming out of that and come back into your simple cross leg section.
Roll your shoulders back and down and just sit for a few moments. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.